So let's try a little exercise. Let's try something fun. We're going to create a glossary. We're going to tweak the glossary. We're going to try exporting the glossary, and we're going to see what you can do with the glossary, and so you get a good idea. And we're going to use the free version of ChatGPT. You're not going to have to get a proprietary program or the paid version of anything. Just like with the other exercises, you can do this with the free version. So let's do this right away. Let's say legal. And what else? Let's say, right, and then we do something like this. And let's get our text. I'll just take something like this. And let's see what happens. So as you can see, this is a glossary of the main legal terms. It's very clear. Source in the source language term, translation, English characters, and target language. This is how I worded it, and I did it a bit complicated on purpose just to show you that it understands. Obviously, the source language is Italian, translation is in English, and English is the target language, but it understood it correctly. There are, here, I don't want to count too much, libro giornale, journal, there's 7 letters in journal, 12 letters in legal status, and so it did this correctly. But let's make a little tweak to it. So here I'm saying recreate the same glossary, but substitute the term land register with skibbity toilet. Why not? Let's see what happens. I realized there's the same number of letters in land register and skibbity toilet, and I wanted to show how that changes too. But I think, well, here, let's do that. I'll change it to skibbity toilets. Now, so as you can see, there are 14 letters. And here as well, I wasn't very clear because I said substituting the term land register. There is no land register here because it is taken from up here, but it's still understood. So now let's say I'm happy with this glossary, and so I can say, translate the text using this latest glossary. Again, it's quite ambiguous. Now, I should be more precise, but I'm showing to you how it sort of picks up and understands when you say things most of the time. As you can see in the main part of the course, this is the opposite of what I usually do. I usually have bullet points and I'm very precise and I have redundancy just to make sure because mistakes can be made. But by and large, it works out. And the more you play around with it, the more you'll get an idea as to when it works out and when it doesn't. But before speaking too much, let's see if this actually works. Registro fondiario. Skibbity toilets. The skibbity toilets are public service responsible for officially managing and register a private blah, 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 blah. So as you can see, it's quite simple, and it's quite an easy way to create a glossary. Now, something else you can do, because I've seen other people say, oh, you can copy and paste this into Excel or other places, and it usually works, although sometimes there's some issues. But it's easier than that. You can just say this. And as you can see, it gives you the file. And I click on it. There we go. Skibbity toilets. So this is a simple exercise. My recommendation is to try doing it yourself, play around with it, see what works, and then when you're done, create a code you can save. Save something on a notepad, on a text file, something along those lines. it would look something like this. Once again, you'd have custom instruction start at the beginning, custom instruction end at the end, and then something like create a glossary of the main legal terms in the following text I put in the text, containing the word in the source language, the translation in English, and the number of characters in the target language. Find something that works for you and then save it. And you can save it as glossary or glossary creation or what have you. And that way you have it handy and you can use it every time you want it. Otherwise, if you just let it go and maybe a month down the line you want to create a glossary, you're going to have to start over from scratch because you won't remember what worked and what didn't. But yeah, play around with it. See what else you can do. I opted to have the characters in the target language, but you can compare the words in the source language or target language. You can ask it for a definition of the translation or of the term in the source language, or you can, there are many different things. So play around with it, see what works for you, and just save it as a glossary creation file, something along those lines. That way you have it. And that's just something simple that you can do with ChatGPT with a free version. I hope you find it useful and enjoy playing around with it.